Welcome back. Just like Nigeria, Ecuador is highly dependent on oil. Though it is classified as a medium-income country, the country is also known for its rich ecology and is host to many endemic plants and animals, and is one of 17 mega-diverse countries in the world. Much of that may have been affected by the quake. My colleague Omelogo Nadi had a chat with the ambassador Leopoldo Rovayo Verdesoto to get an update on the situation in his country and talk about Ecuador's relations with Nigeria.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Your country recently experienced a 7.8 magnitude earthquake. Our condolences for that.
Yeah, we are very grateful with the Nigerian people and also the government of Nigeria. We have received the condolence of the government, and we are very happy to have received this condolence, because I think that solidarity is one of the main human feelings that we could have.
How are you coping with that devastation?
Well, we have a system that had worked. The government had worked properly. We have the Secretary National of Risks, because we have a lot of risks in our country, but you never know when the nature will hit you. So we had a prepared plan to support our citizens in case of earthquake, in case of volcanic eruptions. We have almost 20 active volcanoes, and at the moment 3 of them are in eruption process. The Tungurahua, Cotopaxi, and Sangay and Reventador are volcanoes that are active. So we have to be prepared in that issue. So I think we made it quite well, and of course we have the support of a lot of countries. There are almost 60 flights that arrive to Ecuador with rescuers, because the first step was to try to rescue the people that are under the buildings. The second step is try to take care of the people that are under temporary tents.
But was there any warning before this?
The point is that we are in a belt of fire of the Pacific, so we are under 2 plaques. We are the Nazca plaque that goes into the South American plaque. So when the Nazca plaque moves, that's when the earthquake happens. That's why, if you have seen it in the news, probably you have seen some earthquakes also in Chile, in Peru, Ecuador, sometimes in Colombia, because if the Nazca plaques goes into the South American plate, that's when the earthquake happens. That's why it's not possible to know when it will happen. But we have already 170 replicas after the earthquake, because the Nazca plate is trying to push and more. But there are replicas that are in less intensity, because the expert says that if there is a bigger than 7.8, it will be another earthquake and not a replica.
All right, let's talk about your relationship with Nigerians, your relations with Nigeria. Nigeria is thinking of diversifying her economy. Where do you see Ecuador fitting into this economic projection?
We think that we could sell some products, especially in the food target, because we have some good products. But also, if maybe Nigerian people and Ecuadorian people could make like a joint venture for making food factory in Nigeria or whatever, that could be possible. We have the interests of an Ecuadorian company to invest in Nigeria. Probably they have retarded their trip because of the earthquake, because they have also a factory in Ecuador. It's called Sumesa. So I think a businessman should try to have contacts, maybe through the embassy or through directly or through the chambers of commerce. But the idea is that Ecuador and Nigeria could grow together in this type of joint ventures. Also, we are seeking for investors. We have a lot of small, medium-sized projects that could be fit, like in the power generating of energy. So maybe Nigerian investors could also want to diversify their risks. You know, businessmen always think about the risks. So they like to diversify, to put something in Nigeria, something in Ghana, something maybe in South America. But the idea is that they will know that Ecuador is a world of opportunities, and also that Nigeria is a world of opportunities. Why to go to a safari in Tanzania or in South Africa if you have the big fives in Bauchi? Probably I will try to go to Bauchi next week. And the idea is the Nigerians had to move also their economy. You have 15 million people that could move a lot the economy and try to consume Nigerian products, try to travel around Nigeria, to be proud of your country, and also to improve the dialogue between the different ethnies. That's very important. In Ecuador we also have white people, we have Indian people, and they speak Quechua, I had already tell you, but we have Afro-descendant people. Almost 1 million people are Afro-descendant, and we have learned how to dialogue between each other without violence.
Ecuador is an oil-producing country as Nigeria, also suffering from the crude oil prices crash. Are there lessons that Nigeria can learn from Ecuador in handling that situation?
Well, 15 years ago, we tried to diversify the economy. We had to try to do our best because our main exports are only two. We have shrimps, bananas, cocoa, but we try to diversify. So, you know, Ecuador is a very wealthy land where you could have everything in terms of food. So we try to diversify our exports, especially in the food sector. That's why we export, for example, broccoli to places like Japan. A lot of our exports, almost $3,000 we export to, mainly in food, to the European Union. But it's because the private sector makes a big effort trying to find out how could we export more. So I think that Nigeria has to improve their internal market also, because you have a huge population and you have to work on the internal market and also try to find out what else you could share with your African people. You see, one of the problems that the African Union had been identified is that there is no commercial exchange between African countries. There is very, very slow. So you have to try to find out how could you manage better commercial relations with your neighbors. So, and then expand to other places, and probably you will have to negotiate when your industry grows new commercial treaties.
Talking about your exports to countries, especially in terms of food products, I know you also have plans to begin exports of Ecuadorian products to Nigeria. What sort of goods and businesses or services should we expect?
In May, we are finishing a study about which products could have acceptance at the Nigerian market, and if they are competitive in price, because we have the problem of transport. So probably mainly food, and also some biscuits, cookies, canned food. We have tuna also in that field. So probably it will be food, but we will finish that, and we are making a research about Nigerian chambers of commerce to invite Nigerian importers to try to find out how to make business in Ecuador and to invest in our country.
All right. What's the diplomatic status of Nigeria and Ecuador?
I think relations are going well. We are working together with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. We have 3 treaties that could be signed, I hope, at the end of the year. We are trying to find out if our foreign ministry could came to Nigeria, but unfortunately we have a problem with the earthquake, and also the economic situation in Ecuador is not so good because of the falling of the oil prices. So the idea is to go step by step. We have land in Africa with 4 more embassies.
You've been just 4 months in the country. What's your impression so far of Nigeria?
I like Nigeria. I think it's in the ways of the capital. I like Abuja because I have, after my work, time to relax myself, to read, to have some friendships with Nigerians and people from the other embassies. But I think that, of course, things will be improved. You have only 55 years being independent as a country. My country has almost 200 years since independence. So sometimes that makes a difference, because you had been working 55 years, we had been working 200 years, and more or less we have the same problems, you know. But we try to find out how to manage the problems and to go and step and get a better country.
That's Diplomatic Channel this week. I am Amarachi Ubani. Thanks for watching.